Wayne back with my is300 here. Decided to wrap the charge pipe since it's close to the exhaust housing here. Don't have a turbo blanket yet. I will get one. Got my oil line ran. It was a little long, but it's not kinked or anything. Turned the blow-off valve down and figured out that I would only have to cut out a spot in the hood for like this right here, which is cool with me. It's a pretty small hole, and I'll put something over it so that the filter don't get wet and shit. Hid the vacuum line under the cover here. It's still kind of out in the open, but it's a little better hidden. Got the oil filter relocation set up. That's my turbo line, oil feed line there. A little chintzy, but I didn't want to run it off the plate. And I don't know, that's a little more tucked to the block. I like it like that a little better. Oil's pressure sensor. The line wasn't, the wires weren't long enough to really reach anywhere else, so I just did it like that. And then we got the radiator mocked up. I don't have my crank pulley or anything on yet. I was going to start it up for a split second like this to verify like my timing real quick and make sure it ran okay and that the water pump didn't leak and the oil pump didn't leak and shit like that. Sounds a little chintzy, but I'll put the crank pulley on when I start it, and then I'll just run no cover and no belts besides timing belt. Also got the hood back on so that we could think about cutting it and other stuff. Show you guys my oil cooler right there. Trans cooler. I was going to throw another one in there, like dual loop, but I decided I was just going to give that to my cousin or something. The intercooler, I have all the lines made and on the ice chest, but the intercooler leaked. I got to get some bungs welded on it, so I just haven't hooked this up yet and zip tied the lines to the car. The exhaust is just going to be open down pipe for a few days until I can figure it out and get it to the shop and get the exhaust done. I imagine where I'll go to next. I'm waiting on some fuel line fittings. I'll show you guys how I'm out of my pump here. But I took 6A bulkhead elbows and just tapped them in the bottom of the tank. This one's a little flimsy, but I'll get some epoxy and epoxy that into place. Ditching the stock fuel line, and what I'll do is I'll take like a pry bar or something down in there, and I'll make enough room for 6A line to go all the way up to my regulator, and then from my regulator to my rail, and then use this as a return. This is the pressure. I have the pump set up in the tank. Is a little crazy as well. I can't get it out of here right now. But basically it just goes 6A line from the top of the pump, and it's clamped on the pump with like an alligator clamp, and then 6A fitting into the bulkhead here. And I already tested it. It works, and it works very well. But it's an AM340. Let me pull this out here. AM340. Yeah, it's a little crooked, but it doesn't hit the bottom of the tank. A little clamp there, runs straight up to the bulkhead. I'm not doing any upgraded wiring at the moment. I ran something similar on the GS400 and it worked very well. Pump always got like 14 volts. So we're waiting on some fittings. I'm just going to do straights off of here and then 90s up by the fuel rail and the regulator and stuff. I'm back seat in is300 tonight. And then we'll probably get some of these amp wires out of here and shit. I don't have a stereo or anything. Total race car, no HVAC controls. Like a week before I bought the car, somebody broke in and stole the double din and the HVAC controls and shit. Bunch of work clothes in here. I drove this straight from work when I pulled it. Then my dash lights are pretty cool. They're custom as fuck too. And then my bumper's pretty hit, but I like it. This is the paint job I was thinking about doing, but it's all messed up. I did it a couple weeks ago and I didn't plasti dip at first. It was like chameleon paint. And I think I'm gonna delete the heater core here, probably at least for the summer, and just run those lines to the coolant ports on the turbo there. And then as far as those brake lines go, I'm just gonna zip strip them up into something. My ABS block's kind of just like dangling here, but the filter holds it in perfect, so I'm not really worried about it. Yeah, overspray all over the wires. I didn't know flux when I painted the engine bay here. Downpipe's all wrapped and in there. The wastegate's down there. We put brand new engine mounts in it. We've got to turn the wastegate so that it's not hitting the engine mount. Okay, the vacuum line's on it. It's my old feed line. Or my old return line, I apologize. And then, other than that, the rest of the wiring on the car is pretty much stock. I haven't swapped back to my other ECU yet. I'm not sure if I want to get the Arista one programmed and keep the is300 ECU as a backup just so I have a runner or what. Clean up this wiring harness a little bit, get this bolted back down or whatever. Try and wire tuck everything that I can here. I mean, it looks okay. I didn't really want to do this, but this intercooler and this pipe kit really didn't fit behind the bumper all that well with the coolers already back there. So I just made my own loop, and it's pretty short. It should make turbo lag pretty non-existent, I guess. And then I'm going to run some windshield washer fluid in the tank with a whole bunch of dry ice or whatever and see how far I can get it from freezing up. I tried to see if I can get it to stop leaking with some Permatex. It really didn't work, so I'm just going to clean this up and then have some of these welded onto the cooler. We're trying to clean up the garage. It's like the 5th project already this year. Cruising. I got a couple of these already. Just take these down to the local speed shop and have them welded out right there. But I imagine this should still work for a little bit as an intercooler. It should still cool the charge a little bit. Something else that I was having a little bit of an issue with, I guess, was the oil dipstick for one. I can't find it. I've got to find that and get that in there. And then I'm doing the Drift Motion AC and Power Steering Delete Kit. And so I guess I can get rid of the power steering pigtail and the AC pigtail and clean up some of the wiring down here. Starter's in, plugged in, transmission's in, everything's all bolted up back there. I do have to take care of some stuff with like the transmission cross member. I'll show you guys with that real quick.